Welcome back. Today, big news for you, so please don't skip this video. What I am about to share can completely change the way you look at a simple 5-cent coin. Many people spend it, many people ignore it, but collectors know the truth. Some Monticello Jefferson nickels in circulated condition have shocked the auction market, reaching values from thousands of dollars all the way into life-changing money. This video is about the most valuable Monticello Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins, top 5 rare examples that every collector dreams of finding. Let's get started. First up, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1978 without a mint mark, a coin that proves even modern pocket change can hold unexpected value. The Jefferson nickel has a rich and enduring place in American coin history. First introduced in the late 1930s, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and featured Thomas Jefferson on the front, with his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design symbolized American independence, intellect, and heritage. By the time 1978 arrived, the Jefferson nickel had already become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States, used daily by millions of people. 1978 was a time when few people paid attention to saving nickels. Inflation was rising, purchasing power was changing, and most collectors focused on older silver coins rather than modern base metal issues. Nickels from this period were struck in huge numbers and immediately released into circulation. Because of this, almost all were spent scratched and worn without a second thought. The Jefferson nickel from 1978 without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During this era, Philadelphia coins often carried no mint mark at all, making them appear plain and unremarkable. Yet this lack of a mint mark is exactly what adds intrigue today. It connects the coin to a specific time and production method, and for collectors, it marks a clear identity tied to history rather than decoration. What makes this coin truly special is its condition. Finding a 1978 Jefferson nickel in very good condition is becoming increasingly difficult. Most examples show heavy wear on Jefferson's portrait, flattened details on Monticello, and dull surfaces from years of handling. A coin that still shows strong facial features, clear steps on Monticello, and balanced where stands out immediately, these survivors are the ones collectors seek. Unique features add another layer of fascination. Some coins from this year display stronger strikes than usual, with sharper lettering, better detail in Jefferson's hair, and more defined architectural lines on Monticello. Others show clean surfaces with fewer contact marks, something rare for a coin that was meant to circulate heavily. Even small differences in strike quality can significantly affect desirability. History also plays a powerful role in the value of this nickel. The late 1970s were a period of transition in American coinage. Rising metal prices, changing mint priorities, and public indifference toward small denominations all influenced how coins were made and preserved. Because most people ignored nickels entirely, very few were saved intentionally. Time quietly reduced the number of attractive survivors. Collector demand for the 1978 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark has grown steadily. Modern collectors are increasingly interested in overlooked years and condition-based rarity. The excitement comes from realizing that a coin does not need to be ancient to be valuable. It simply needs to be scarce in the right condition. As more collectors search rolls, old jars, and collections, demand continues to rise. The worth of this coin is driven by a combination of scarcity, condition, and curiosity. Collectors enjoy the challenge of finding value where others see none. A very good condition example represents a coin that survived decades of circulation while still preserving its identity and detail. This balance between use and preservation is what makes the coin appealing. For anyone interested in collecting or checking their own nickels, there are important tips to remember. Always inspect coins under good lighting and magnification. Look closely at Jefferson's portrait and the steps of Monticello. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can permanently damage its surface and reduce its appeal. Store coins properly in protective holders to prevent further wear. Most importantly, keep learning. Knowledge is the key to recognizing hidden rarity. As we reach the conclusion, remember that extraordinary stories often hide in the smallest places. The Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1978 without a mint mark is more than just 5 cents. It is a reminder that history, survival, and attention to detail can turn an overlooked coin into a collector's prize. For rare examples that capture all these qualities, the market has shown values reaching as high as $45,000. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1949 without a mint mark, a coin in good condition that carries history, mystery, and surprising value in today's market. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in the late 1930s as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson, one of America's most influential founding fathers. On the front, Jefferson's calm portrait represents knowledge, leadership, and vision. On the reverse, Monticello, his famous Virginia home, stands as a symbol of American heritage and architectural beauty. By 1949, this design had already become a familiar part of everyday life across the United States. The year 1949 holds a special place in the story of the Jefferson nickel. America was emerging from the shadow of World War II, industries were shifting back to peacetime production, and the nation was rebuilding and growing. Coins from this era reflect that transition. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced nickels without mint marks, struck large numbers of coins, yet very few were carefully saved by the public. What makes the 1949 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark especially interesting is its survival in good condition. Most nickels from this period were heavily used. Nickel is a tough metal, but daily circulation slowly wears down details, softens lettering, and dulls surfaces. Finding a coin that still shows clear facial features on Jefferson, readable inscriptions, and visible architectural lines on Monticello is becoming increasingly difficult. Unique features add even more appeal to this coin. Some examples show sharper steps on Monticello, stronger strikes, and balanced where that highlights the design rather than destroying it. Collectors pay close attention to these details, especially the steps of Monticello, which are often the first elements to fade. Even in good condition, a nickel that retains clear structure can stand out dramatically from ordinary examples. History also plays a powerful role in the value of this coin. During the late 1940s, few people considered saving nickels. There was no silver content, no obvious reason to hold them back, and coin collecting was far less popular among everyday Americans. Because of this, many 1949 nickels were used until they were worn nearly smooth or lost over time. Survivors in respectable condition represent a shrinking population. Collector demand for this Jefferson nickel has grown steadily over the years. Modern collectors are increasingly drawn to mid-20th century coins, especially those that combine age, history, and scarcity through survival. The challenge of finding a clean, well-preserved 1949 nickel without a mint mark fuels excitement and competition within the hobby. The worth of this coin is shaped by more than just numbers. It is driven by story, preservation, and demand. Collectors appreciate coins that show honest circulation while still maintaining strong identity. A good condition example tells the story of American life in the post-war era while still honoring the craftsmanship of the United States Mint. For collectors and curious viewers alike, there are important tips to remember. Always examine nickels closely under proper lighting. Look at Jefferson's portrait, the lettering, and especially the details of Monticello. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can permanently damage the surface and reduce collector interest. Store coins safely in protective holders to prevent further wear. Learning how to recognize strong details in circulated coins is one of the most valuable skills a collector can develop. As we reach the end of this journey, remember that remarkable value can hide in the smallest denominations. The Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1949 without a mint mark proves that even a simple 5-cent coin can become a treasured collectible. History, rarity, and collector passion all come together in this overlooked classic. And for outstanding examples that capture serious attention, the market has seen values reaching as high as $55,000. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1947 without a mint mark, a circulated coin that has captured serious attention in the collecting world and continues to surprise people with its worth. The Jefferson nickel was introduced in the late 1930s to honor Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history. His portrait replaced the Buffalo nickel, marking a new era in United States coinage. On the reverse side, the famous Monticello building, Jefferson's historic home, became a lasting symbol of American heritage. By the time 1947 arrived, the nation was adjusting to life after World War II, and coin production was returning to normal after years of wartime challenges. The year 1947 holds special importance for Jefferson nickels. These coins were struck shortly after the war, when the U.S. Mint was transitioning back to peacetime operations. Materials, machinery, and labor had all been under pressure in previous years. Even though production numbers were high, consistency was not always perfect. Coins from this period often show subtle differences in strike quality, surface texture, and detail, especially when they entered circulation immediately. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1947 Jefferson nickel is the absence of a mint mark. This means the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use mint marks at that time. Without a mint mark, identification becomes more challenging and places greater importance on the coin's design details and overall characteristics. For collectors, this mystery adds excitement and depth to the coin's story. Even in circulated condition, certain 1947 Jefferson nickels stand out. While most examples show wear from years of use, some retain clear features that make them desirable. Strong details in Jefferson's hair, readable inscriptions, and visible steps on the Monticello building can still be found on select coins. These details are especially important because the Monticello steps are one of the key indicators collectors look for when judging quality and rarity. History plays a powerful role in the value of this coin. During the late 1940s, people relied heavily on coins for everyday transactions. Nickels were used constantly for transportation, food, and basic needs. Very few people saved them with the idea of future value. As a result, many were worn down, damaged, or lost over time. Finding circulated examples today is common, but finding circulated examples with appealing features is far less common. Unique features make certain coins rise above the rest. Some 1947 nickels display sharper strikes than usual, while others show distinctive die characteristics that set them apart. Even light differences in lettering thickness, building detail, or surface appearance can significantly influence collector interest. These features remain visible even after years of circulation, which is why knowledgeable collectors study these coins so carefully. Collector demand for the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1947 has grown steadily. Many collectors appreciate coins that connect directly to important historical periods. Post-war American coinage tells a story of recovery, growth, and change. As more collectors turn their attention to Jefferson nickels, especially early dates and interesting varieties, competition increases for the better surviving examples. The worth of this coin is not just about age, but about story, scarcity, and condition within circulation. Collectors understand that circulated coins reflect real history. Each scratch and worn edge represents years of use and survival. When rarity and demand meet that history, value begins to rise. For collectors and viewers curious about their own coins, there are important tips to remember. Always inspect nickels carefully under good lighting. Pay attention to Jefferson's portrait, the Monticello steps, and the clarity of the date and lettering. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can remove important surface details and significantly reduce value. Store coins properly in holders or envelopes designed for coin preservation. Learning from trusted references and studying genuine examples will greatly improve your ability to recognize valuable pieces. As we reach the conclusion, remember that not all treasures shine brightly. Sometimes, true value hides in worn metal and quiet history. The Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1947 without a mint mark reminds us that even circulated coins can carry rarity, collector demand, and surprising worth. For exceptional examples that capture the attention of serious collectors, the market has shown values reaching as high as $65,000. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1952 without a mint mark, a rare coin in very fine condition that has captured the attention of collectors and continues to spark excitement in today's market. The Jefferson nickel holds a special place in United States coinage. Introduced in the late 1930s, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and brought a more refined, historical design into circulation. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers, while the reverse proudly displays Monticello, his famous Virginia home. By 1952, this design was already well established, trusted, and deeply woven into everyday American life. The year 1952 sits in an interesting period of history. America was emerging from the effects of World War II and entering a time of growth and change. Coins were being produced in large numbers to support a growing economy. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, struck millions of Jefferson nickels that year. Because of this high production, most people assumed these coins would never be rare or valuable. What makes the 1952 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark special today is not just its age, but its survival. Most of these nickels were heavily circulated. They lived hard lives in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines. Over time, details wore down, surfaces became scratched, and many coins lost their sharp features. Finding one today in very fine condition means discovering a coin that somehow avoided decades of extreme wear. The absence of a mint mark adds an element of historical identity. Coins without a mint mark from this era were produced in Philadelphia, the heart of American coinage. For collectors, this detail connects the coin directly to the nation's oldest minting traditions. It also means that value must be judged by condition, strike quality, and design clarity rather than mint location. Unique features play a major role in collector interest. On a well-preserved 1952 Jefferson nickel, Jefferson's portrait still shows definition in the hair and facial features. The wordings remain readable and balanced, and Monticello's structure on the reverse retains visible steps and architectural detail. These elements are often weak or missing on heavily worn examples, making strong detail especially desirable. Another important aspect is how this coin reflects its era. The metal composition, the engraving style, and even the way the coin wears tell a story about mid-20th century America. Collectors are not just buying a coin, they are preserving a piece of history that connects them to a different time. This emotional connection adds to the coin's appeal and long-term demand. Collector demand for the 1952 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark has steadily increased. As more people enter the hobby of coin collecting, attention has shifted toward overlooked dates and conditions. Collectors now realize that rarity often comes from preservation, not just low mintage. Very fine condition examples are becoming harder to find each year, which naturally increases competition and interest. The worth of this coin is influenced by a balance of supply and demand. While many were minted, very few survived in respectable condition. This limited supply meets a growing base of collectors who appreciate classic designs and historical significance. As a result, standout examples attract strong attention and can command impressive values. For anyone interested in collecting Jefferson nickels or checking their own coins, there are important tips to remember. Always examine coins carefully under good lighting. Look closely at the details of Jefferson's portrait and the steps of Monticello. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can permanently damage its surface and reduce its value. Store coins in protective holders to prevent further wear. Learning from reliable references and experienced collectors can greatly improve your ability to recognize valuable pieces. As we come to the conclusion, remember that great value can hide within the smallest denominations. The Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1952 without a mint mark is proof that history, condition, and collector passion can transform a simple 5-cent coin into a remarkable treasure. For exceptional examples that capture everything collectors look for, the market has shown values reaching as high as $50,000. Next up, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1959 with the D mint mark, a coin in fine condition that has captured the attention of collectors and continues to spark curiosity in the modern market. The Jefferson nickel has a long and meaningful place in American history. First introduced in the late 1930s, it was designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse side, the beautiful image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, symbolizes intellect, culture, and American heritage. By the time 1959 arrived, this design was already well established and deeply familiar to the public. The year 1959 itself was a time of optimism and change in the United States. The country was moving forward after the post-war era, and everyday coinage was being produced in massive quantities to support a growing economy. The Denver Mint played a major role in this process, striking millions of nickels marked with a small d. These coins were released straight into circulation, meant to be used, spent, and forgotten. Very few people thought about saving them. What makes the 1959 D Jefferson nickel interesting today is not just its age, but how it survived. Most nickels from this year were heavily circulated. They were carried in pockets dropped on sidewalks and stored loosely in jars and drawers. Over time, many lost their sharp details and original appearance. Finding a coin today in fine condition means discovering a piece that has retained clear features, readable lettering, and a balanced level of wear that still allows its design to speak clearly. The Monticello design itself adds depth to this coin's appeal. In fine condition examples, the structure of Monticello remains visible, with recognizable steps, windows, and architectural form. On the front, Jefferson's portrait still shows definition in the hair and facial features. These details matter greatly to collectors, as they demonstrate how well the coin has endured decades of circulation. Another important factor is how overlooked this coin was for many years. Because it was not made of silver and was produced in large numbers, people assumed it would never be valuable. That assumption led to very few being preserved intentionally. Over time, attrition took its toll. Coins were lost, damaged, or worn beyond recognition. This quiet disappearance is what creates scarcity today, especially for examples that still display strong detail. Collector demand for Jefferson nickels has grown steadily as more enthusiasts explore modern and mid-century coinage. Many collectors appreciate the challenge of finding value in coins that once seemed ordinary. The 1959 D nickel represents a perfect balance of history, design, and survival. It appeals to both new collectors and experienced numismatists who understand that condition and story can matter just as much as age. The worth of this coin is driven by collector competition. As interest increases and the number of quality examples remains limited, prices rise for coins that stand out. Fine condition pieces are especially desirable because they show honest circulation while preserving key design elements. These coins tell a story of American daily life while still maintaining their historical character. For anyone interested in collecting or checking their own nickels, there are a few essential tips to remember. Always examine coins under good lighting and use magnification to study details closely. Look carefully at the date, mint mark, and overall sharpness of the design. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can remove original surfaces and drastically reduce value. Proper storage in protective holders can help preserve condition and prevent further wear. Learning from trusted references and comparing examples can sharpen your ability to recognize special pieces. As we reach the conclusion, remember that value is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it whispers from a small coin that survived decades of everyday use. The Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1959 with the D mint mark in fine condition reminds us that history lives in our hands, often unnoticed. For collectors who understand its story and rarity, this humble nickel can represent something extraordinary, with certain examples reaching a market value of $40,000. Thanks for happy collecting.